Ad paid for by Marjan Philhour for Supervisor 2020. Financial disclosures are available at sfethics.org.
How's everybody doing today? Thanks for having me here. If you hear something in the background, it's my cooped up daughter playing with a friend of hers going
It's happening to all of us.
and trapped in my house. I will be able to physically hear my house being destroyed behind me out of this door behind me. So, you know, things were not good for small businesses in San Francisco before COVID. And small businesses were suffering. They were really not doing well. And COVID came like an extinction event for many of our small businesses. And this is a subject that's very near and dear to me. I have owned, I think, 11 small businesses in the city. Currently, I own about 5. We're about to open a shop on Clement Street, so there'll be a D1 business owner hopefully soon. And we have watched in the last maybe 10 years as our cost of doing business has just skyrocketed, and simultaneously our profits have just shriveled up to nothing. And a lot of the reason behind this were from measures passed in City Hall. So City Hall did not make the rent skyrocket, and they did not lead to the rise in online retailers and gig economy retailers that have been really preying on small businesses and outcompeting them. But they did make it so hard for us to do business that it's impossible for us to compete with the high rents and with the mandates that we have. So we really needed a change before COVID, and as devastating as COVID is and as painful as it's going to be, I hope there's an opportunity there, and I think there's an opportunity there to kind of fix the ecosystem and make it easier and better and promote small businesses. And I really think it's not just a good opportunity, it's something we need to do before it's too late. So the survey that was sent out by Marjan's team, the people that responded, I think every single one of them was a small business owner, and they're all currently operating, and 90% of them, I believe, received some sort of form of aid for COVID. And some of the findings were not surprising to me, but the high cost of commercial rent is a serious issue. The permitting process and the inflexibility is a really, really serious issue. When you have a principally permitted business, and that means a business that the planning department says is completely 100% allowed to open in a space, and it still takes a year of paying rent to open that business, something is very, very wrong. And in cities just as close as San Jose, that timeline is shrunk down to a matter of weeks and not even months. And so there's something wrong there. And then lack of communication from small business to City Hall to small business, and parking and transportation's an issue. When I think about small business, I think about existing businesses and I think about new businesses, and they have got kind of different sets of issues. We need to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We need to make it better for our existing businesses, and we also need to make it easier for new businesses to come in and open faster. So I think I won't take too much time here, but the one big idea that came out of this survey is that the applicants almost unanimously wanted to see something to address the permitting issues. And I just want to mention, it would be dumb for me not to mention that our mayor, who has shown time and time again to actually be very committed to the life of small businesses, has put, as her office and working with me and others, have put forth a ballot measure on this ballot called Proposition H. It's the Save Our Small Business ballot measure. I encourage you all to look at it, but one of the main items in there is that if you're a principally permitted business under a certain size, the permitting time is shrunk down to 30 days to get your permit. And that's huge. And there's some other things in there that just make it easier to open and give some businesses flexibility. And then I think, I think there's a greater thing here. And that is that I think the citizens of San Francisco and the leaders have taken small business for granted, because since, 1849, small businesses have popped up and done well, and people have done okay for themselves and been able to live. But I can't say this enough. It is different now. Businesses are going to go away, and they may never come back. And I've been saying this for a year. I've been saying it in meetings, and COVID has just made that so much more acute. And we cannot take small businesses for granted. If you care, if any of us care about our corridors, the charm of our cities. I live around the corner from Balboa Village. I'm down there every single day. Part of the reason I moved here onto 32nd and Balboa is because of Balboa Village. And places like that are not going to exist anymore, and everything's just going to be online. And I would argue that is really, really unhealthy for our communities, and we need to do something. And this gets to the leaders. And the leaders have treated small business like their personal piggy banks for decades in the city. And at the time when small business is doing fine, and there was just, if one went out, another one would just show up in its place, the cracks in the ecosystem weren't showing. But now all of that has come to a head, and we really need leaders who don't just talk the talk with small business, but they actually help us put forward positive things for the small business community to help make lives better for us. And we have a number of leaders who will put out one positive thing while they're simultaneously putting out something that really hurts small businesses. We've seen that. We've seen a budget passed by the current Board of Supervisors in this last week that went through with $250 million of raises for the for the public sector. And the small business relief in that budget was exactly $0. They put exactly $0 toward helping our small businesses, which are going out of business at rates that are catastrophic. So we need leaders who cherish small business and help grow the ecosystem and make it healthy. And having a great time working with Marjan. She's a small business owner herself. I'm excited to hear her ideas and to move forward with that. So with that, I will cede my microphone, and you can always reach out to me. Marjan can provide the information. I love talking small business. I haunt City Hall. I haunt it virtually now. I'm constantly talking to people about this, so don't hesitate to reach out if I can be helpful.